Is Terence Crawford truly the GOAT of this era? He's damn sure the best black American fighter of his generation. Damn sure that. And we'll see who reigns supreme the generation after him. The guys that's in, 27 to 30 years old right now. The guys that's, 5, 6, 7 years younger than him. We'll see who reigns supreme of that generation. But of his generation, him, Earl, Keith, Usyk, Loma, those guys, the generation right after Canelo, all those guys, that generation, guys from, 36, I want to say guys from like 38, 39 to like 33 years old right now, is him and Usyk, bro. I said it on the short earlier today. For me, I got Usyk. But if your argument is Bud Crawford, I ain't mad at you. He put on a hell of a performance. I just think what Usyk did was more impressive to me. Straight up. More impressive. But 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, the only man to ever do that shit. And he was dominant last night. Not dominant where he just walked through Canelo and beat him up, but there was never a point in that fight that Canelo was winning or had Bud in any real danger. It was competitive, close in the fight early, but Bud was still nicking rounds. But then from round 6 to round 12, he just cooked Canelo. Canelo's best round was round 5. After 4 rounds, I think I had it like 3-1 Bud. And then the 5th round, 3-2 Bud. Because Canelo got the 5th round. Then from that point on, Bud cooked him. Cooked him badly. So, but the GOAT conversation of this era is interesting, right? Because I think we're going to get a lot of knee-jerk reactions. And Bud Crawford has a very passionate fan base. Some of you are watching this video, making your rounds, talking your ish. Do your thing. Your guy deserves it, right? However, this GOAT of this era, and everybody's just saying it's a foregone conclusion, a lot of people are forgetting Alexander Usyk. A lot of people are forgetting him now. I see people trying to change the argument. Max Kellerman, being a very good debater, being very smart. He know who Alexander Usyk is. He know what Usyk has accomplished. He's changing the conversation to be like fight of your life, of your generation, who you want going into battle. Meaning, what people are going to say about Bud is if you put him in the ring with anybody from any of those eras, Bud is our guy that can go in there and beat Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is our guy that can go in there and beat Ray Leonard. Floyd is our guy that can go in there and beat Ray Robinson. That's what they're trying to change the argument to. What I would say is, so can Alexander Usyk. All them guys small as shit. If you want to change the argument to that, so can Usyk. Them dudes little as motherfucker. But what other people want to do is they want to compare Usyk to other heavyweights. Which I get it, bro, but that's just a nonsensical argument. It's like, yo, he's a GOAT of this era. He could beat Floyd. He could beat Ray Robinson. Cool. Cool, no problem. Well, if I want to look for somebody to beat him and it's just who you would send into battle, I'm sending a heavyweight. Cool. Cool, Floyd. Cool, bud. Can you beat Lennox Lewis? That's why that argument's stupid. That's why you have to go with accolades, what they accomplished, and what they did, bro. And people trying to change the argument to like make the glove fit. If the glove fit, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That shit doesn't work, bro. And I'm explaining to you why it doesn't work. If you drop him in that era, he would beat this guy. If you drop him in that era, he would beat that guy. That's a basketball one-on-one, type of argument. That could even be like a football argument. That's not a boxing argument. Because basketball and football, they all compete on the same playing field, regardless of height, regardless of size. Right? And those are team sports. You can't make that argument in an individual sport. Because if you're going, okay, I'm looking for somebody to beat Floyd Mayweather from this era, nigga, I would not be picking Bud Crawford. He's too close inside to Floyd. He thinks too much. He's too cerebral in his approach. But Floyd would have a better chance to beat him than he would David Benavidez. And I don't even think David Benavidez is the GOAT over Floyd. Over Bud Crawford, obviously. But when you do if you tell us about our guy, and our guy that we picking from our era can beat your guy that you picking from your era, if that's the basis of the GOAT, I'm not picking anybody under heavyweight from any era. If you tell me, KO, you got to pick somebody from Floyd Mayweather's era to beat Bud Crawford, I'm going to say what? Early 2000s to 2012? I'm not going Floyd. I'm picking the best heavyweight from that era. Oh, you got to give me somebody from Ray Leonard's era. You got to give me somebody from Ray Leonard's era to beat Terence Bud Crawford. Cool. I'm not going Ray Leonard. Although I think that's a hell of a fight. I think Ray Leonard definitely can win that fucking fight. I'm not picking Ray Leonard. I'm picking Ray Leonard. I'm going up. I'm going up to heavyweight. I'm going to say, all right, Floyd. I'm going to say, all right, Bud, what you going to do with what you going to do with Evander Holyfield? Fuck are we talking about? All right, no problem, bro. Hey, get in there with Lennox Lewis. Let me see what you can do with Lennox, bro. So that's a stupid argument. You have to go with what they accomplished, who they did it against, in the context of which they got those accomplishments. So if we're going to go GOAT, just of this era alone, Bud has an argument. He has the exact same accolades that Alexander Usyk had. A 3-time undisputed champion. Now, 2 of Alexander Usyk's came in the same weight class because he got stripped. But if you give him Bud credit for beating a 2-time undisputed champion in Canelo Alvarez, Canelo got his belts the same way. Got stripped, then went and got it back against Skull, and then fought Bud. So if you give credit to Canelo for being a 2-time undisputed champion, you got to call Usyk a 3-time undisputed champion as well. That's point number 1. Point number 2, Usyk's role was just more difficult to me. And he's more accomplished as an amateur. I think it's more difficult to go take people's belt one by one. And he did that in his first undisputed run, but didn't. I think the champions that, like Maris Breedis, right? And the guys that he beat to become the cruiserweight undisputed champion, doing it in their home country, I think that's more impressive than winning 3 belts from Julius Ndongo, bro. Sorry, fam. I think going on his second run at heavyweight, taking the belts from Anthony Joshua, then defending them, I think that's more impressive than winning all of them from Earl Spence. Even though I think Earl Spence is more of a dog, was undefeated. I think he's a better fighter than Anthony Joshua, just skill for skill. But Usyk also did something Bud has never done. He's defended his undisputed titles twice. Bud didn't just defend him at 140, 147, and he hasn't defended him at 168 yet. We'll see. And then the weight jump, right? Bud Crawford in his career has moved all the way up from 135 to 168. In the grand scheme of things, that's 33 pounds, y'all. 33 pounds. Usyk went from fighting 200-pounders, guys that weigh in 200 pounds, to guys that weigh in 250, 260, 270. Big-ass dudes, bro. And throughout his run at heavyweight, dudes have weighed in 30 to 40 pounds heavier than him. Every time Bud Crawford fought, all his opponents had to weigh in at the exact same weight he did. Usyk comes into Friday before the fight 220 to 225. You got guys like Tyson Fury come in 278, 270. What's up? I see you tomorrow. Yes, I outweigh you by 60 pounds. Let's get it cracking. Anthony Joshua come in 247. I outweigh you already by 30 pounds before we even get in the ring. What's happening? Dane Dubois 240 to 250. I outweigh you by 20 to 25 pounds already before we even fight. What's happening? And Usyk just keeps whooping their ass. I think both fighters have an argument. My argument is for Usyk, but Bud Crawford definitely put himself in the conversation to go to this era. What can he do? What can he do to be the go to this era? He said yesterday he won't go up to 175. I don't know if he should go back down to 154. But I would say a run at 154 or 160 before he's 40 years old. If he can somehow go to 160, beat the champions there, or somehow get to 154, beat the champions there. I think the 154 run is more impressive because it has more names. I think the 160 run is safer because he drops less weight. But if he can do any of those things, then you'd have to put him over Usyk. Right now, you still got to give Usyk the edge. And neither one of these guys are done fighting. And Usyk is looking like after he comes back next year, he's going to defend his undisputed titles for a third time. So he's been undisputed 3 times now, and he's defending them every time. He's made the toughest weight jump in boxing that you can make. And he's a more decorated amateur. I still got to give the nod to Usyk. But it ain't unobtainable for Bud if he still got more to fight for. And because he's more well-known here in America than Usyk, a lot of American fight fans are already calling him the GOAT of this era anyway. So, we'll go from there. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Smash the like, sub to the channel. See y'all soon. Peace.